Hello everyone and welcome to the Shadow Realm. Today I'm going to showcase my DDD deck profile in Master Duel. But before we start, a friendly reminder to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. We're going to start things off with triple copies of DD Savant Kepler. This is the main starter of the deck that when it's normal or special summoned, you can add one Dark Contract card from the deck to your hand. You usually want to search for Dark Contract with the gate with this card. Now moving on to our next combo piece, it's triple copies of DD Necro Slime. Necro Slime is usually the card that you want to have in the graveyard, either by sending it as material with the effect of Swirl Slime or sending it with the effect of Lamia. Speaking of which, we're playing triple copies of Tdilamia. This card is a great extender and a tuner for the deck. It can send a DD or Dark Contract card from the hand or face up to the field to the graveyard, and then it can special summon itself to the field. Also, it gets banished when it leaves the field. You have multiple ways in the extra deck to revive this card, so you can keep using it to climb the Synchro ladder. It's also usually one of the materials that you need in order to go for the Crystal Hulky Fibrex. And moving on, we're also playing the triple copies of Maxx. As long as this card is legal in Master Duel, you have to play it in almost every deck. But keep in mind, if we get a TCG ban list, this card is probably going to get banned. Moving on, we're playing triple copies of Swirl Slime. This is going to be one of the best starters in the deck. It allows you to fusion summon from the hand using it and another DD monster as material, and when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to special summon a monster from your hand. You usually want to special summon the Tdilamia from your hand using this effect. I'm also playing the single copy of DD Ghost. You usually special summon this card using the effect of Crystal Hulky Fibrex, and the effect that really matters is that when it gets banished, you can get one for banished DD monsters back to the graveyard. Now moving on, we're playing the most important hand trap in the deck, triple copies of Ash Blossom. This card is great against rock decks and can also deal with Maxx. As for the last starter in the deck, we're playing triple copies of DD Savant Copernicus. And when this card is normal special summoned, you can send a DD or Dark Contract card to the graveyard. You usually want to send a DD Necro Slime or DD Lamia to the graveyard. Now we're also playing a single copy of DD Orthros. We're only playing this card for the fact that it can deal with floodgates by destroying one spell trap on the field and itself, but the second effect won't come up because it will lock you into fins. I'm also playing a single copy of DD Dog purely because we want to special summon it with the effect of Swirl Slime and easily go into the only rank 6 that we're playing. In some niche scenarios, his monster and pendulum effects might come up as well, but if you don't like the card, you can completely remove it. As for the Pendulum Extenders, we're playing a single copy of Chaos Apocalypse because it can special summon itself from the scale by banishing 2 cards from the graveyard. If we banish DD Ghost with this effect, we can get the DD card back to the graveyard. Now I'm also playing a single copy of Chaos King Abyss Ragnarok. This card is an extender both as a monster and as a scale, but keep in mind when you use the Pendulum effect, you're dealing half damage for the rest of the turn. Also as a monster, you can tribute a DD monster and then target one monster your opponent controls and then banish it. For the Saki Wanos, we're playing a single copy of Raigeki, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, and for the consistency card of the deck, I'm choosing to play triple copies of Allure of Darkness. We're also playing a single copy of 1/1 to special summon Kepler directly from the deck. And another great consistency card is triple copies of Dark Contract with the Gate. This card allows us to search for any DD monster that we need, and we can send it to the graveyard with the effect of Lamia in order to special summon here. We're also playing the single copy of Dark Contract with the Swamp King. This card allows us to fusion summon using materials from the hand, field or graveyard, and it's an amazing extender if our plays can't interrupt it. It's always great to run at least 1 copy of this card. And of course, since we're playing a combo deck, we're playing double copies of Called by the Grave. If we get a TCG ban list, this card is probably getting back to 1. Other than that, this card is great to deal with Maxx. And the last card in the main deck is double copies of Infinite Impermanence. This is an amazing interruption to use it either defensively or offensively against your opponent. Now let's move on to the extra deck. We're playing double copies of Triple D Flame King Genghis. This card is usually one of the first cards that we want to special summon using the effect of Swirl Slime, and then by special summoning Lamia, we can revive back another DD monster from the graveyard. And of course, we're also playing the single copy of Triple D Flame King High Genghis. This card can revive back a DD monster from the graveyard when another DD monster is normal special summoned, and it's also spell and trap negate during your turn. Now I'm also including a card that not many people like in this deck, but I personally love it. Wave Oblivion King Caesar Ragnarok is a card that allows you to deal with many problematic monsters. Now moving on to the Synchro portion of this deck, we're playing single copy Formula Synchro. We only want to have this card special summoned with the effect of Crystron. Now moving on to the Synchro DD monster, we're playing a single copy of Gast King Alexander. We only have this card to go into our Synchro 8s using it and Lamia. And speaking of the Synchro 8s, we're playing a single copy of Triple D Cursed King Siegfried. This card allows us to deal with spell and trap negates, and if our opponent uses a card like Dark Lure No More, we can chain another trap that we have and then negate it with Siegfried. Now the monster effect negate of this deck is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. You can really easily make him special summoning Alexander and then special summoning Lamia. Now one of the most generic Synchro 8s is Borreload Savage Dragon. This card allows you to have a nominal negate, and he also gains half the attack of the whipped monster. Now we're also playing a single copy of Satellite Warrior. We usually make this card by special summoning Formula Synchro during our opponent's turn, turn, and then Synchro summoning using one of our Synchro aids. This card is amazing, especially against the Eldritch matchup. Now moving on to the single Axis monster in the extra deck, one copy of Triple D Wave King Caesar. You can easily make him using TD Dog and another Genghis, or fusion summoning two of the smaller Genghis. Also, the amazing thing about this card is that its effect is not once per turn, meaning that if your opponent tries to disrupt your board, you have 2 negates. And now let's move on to the Link lineup. We're playing a single copy of Crystal Hulky Fibrax. This deck is one of the few decks that can utilize this card at its full potential. We use it as an extender and as a disruption during our opponent's turn. As for the only Link TD monster, we're playing a single copy of Triple D Abyss King Gilgamesh. When you Link summon this card, you can send 2 scales directly from the deck, and then you can continue with your combos after that. Now one of the best cards in the TD Synchro deck is one copy of Crossip. We usually want to special summon one of our monsters to a zone it points to, and then revive back a monster from the graveyard. The last card in the extra deck is a single copy of Borreload Dragon. In some scenarios you don't have any way to deal with your opponent's large monsters, but this deck can easily make Borreload using the monsters that can revive back from the graveyard. And this pretty much completes today's deck profile. If you're interested in learning any of the DDD combos, I have posted plenty of videos in this channel showcasing the various lines. Now, if you have problem with back row decks, you can choose to play a single copy of Kali Yuga, so you can wipe the entire field and skill drain your opponent. You can also use him to set back one of your dark contracts. Now, many of you might want to have budget alternatives in this deck, but sadly there are not many good ones. For example, if you don't have access to Satellite Warrior, you can use Super Tomb King Bright Armageddon to protect your monsters from being targeted, but keep in mind that you need to have a Triple D monster in order to synchro summon into it. Another budget alternative if you want to have a rank 8 is Triple D Super Doom King Dark Armageddon. Pendulum monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, and unsummoned can destroy cards your opponent controls. Keep in mind that moving forward we probably might get the new support from Battle of Chaos, so this way we might have many more alternatives. If you want to find spicy ideas about the deck, you can check my other TCG videos that I have made on the channel. Moving forward, I'm really excited about the new support probably coming in the next few months, and DDD is one of the decks that I'm mainly going to play in this game. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments down below. Also let me know what deck you want to see next, and I will try my best to make a deck profile video. Now if you want to support the channel in any way, shape or form, make sure to check the links down in the description. Also consider joining my Discord server. Until next time, make sure you stay safe, and I will see you all in the Shadow Realm.